Hey everyone! Welcome to another devlog. Today we're gonna talk about world building. This is the most exciting part for me in game development because I chose such a specific setting for my game, which is Renaissance Mediterranean, and these constraints make it even more exciting. And if you will stick to the end of this video, you will understand why choosing a good setting is a key for world building. And if you're just here for fun, let's have some fun. If you want to support me and my game, please like this video and subscribe. It's free and it will help me a lot. Thanks. So we will move as my progress was going, and the first chunk of work was a bit easy and basic, and it will be about the village. Yes, the last videos were mainly about the cottage location and everything around it, but right now we will concentrate on the village, what buildings will be there, and this is very exciting for me, honestly. The last state of the village that you saw was basically just a sketch, very raw sketch, and yeah, what I can say, since then it changed a lot. And let's start with the first task. Of course I did the cliffs, but I did not finish them because I thought, what if I will change the layout and then I don't want to redraw all these cliffs, and I still do keep them unfinished because I still don't really know if I want to dramatically change the layout. Some cliffs I did finish, and like 90% maybe, and I kinda regret it because the layout that I did, I don't really like it right now because it restricted me a lot and I don't really know what to do with it. Maybe it's just temporary, but I honestly don't want to redo anything at this point yet. I started the village basically with the stone stairs because I already made them for the cottage and I just repurposed them and made the side view. Then logically I switched to the village walls, or the fence I should say, I don't know. These blue accents I like a lot because they give a lot of freshness into these boring grayish and beige stones. And then I added these grass bunches and blades to blend the fence with the grass to finish the whole look. And most of all, I wanted to do cobblestones, and I thought it would be really difficult, but it wasn't. I drew a pattern and quickly placed it around, but later I realized that I chose too bright colors and repainted it to more faded out and dirty version because it's cobblestones and they're always dirty. I have this initial pattern over here, and as you can see, this is very light and very, I don't know, for me it looks like fish skin. It was very difficult to look at. Then for quite a long time I was pretty sick and I couldn't do very creative work and where I should concentrate a lot, so I didn't draw much, but I was looking at the village and thinking about what buildings I should have there, where they should go, and at this stage, except the fact that I trimmed down some buildings that don't really fit into my world and don't really make sense here, I also remade the layout because it wasn't really working for me and for the game as well. It took some time to rethink it because, as I say, the cliffs were already made and I really didn't want to change it, so I had to play around, and I did. Maybe I will change it in the future as well because it's pretty flexible thing, and yeah, I can move the buildings around. So for the new layout, the first building I made was bakery. For me, this is kinda the most important building, especially in the small village. I love pastries, and I love that it is not just a common thing in Europe to have a coffee and pastries in the morning, but an essential ritual, so bakery had to be the first thing. I drew a two-story building, and when I was visiting smaller villages in Spain, I saw that this was quite common back then, that the first floor, that here is a ground floor, that it called ground floor. I don't know, in many countries it's very different. The ground floor is always the store, the workshop, anything like that basically, and the second floor or the first floor is always where the owners live, and the first floor is the bakery itself, the store, and the second floor is where where the baker or maybe his family lives. I did not decide on the characters yet, and also I want to mention that all the buildings I will show you today is not 100% ready yet, because I don't know anything about my characters yet. I didn't think about it. I didn't finish all the buildings on purpose because I don't know the characters, the personalities of their owners, and I want to bring it to the building as well. So that's why I made it the basic structure that I want to do with this building. When I will do all the characters, I will add their personalities to their buildings as well. So yeah, the bakery has all this basic stuff, the plants, the overgrown vegetation that will probably have a lot of flowers on it. I didn't draw flowers yet because this is very difficult. Flowers are probably the most difficult part for me right now. So I saved it for last. And a chair where the baker can go outside and chill when there is no customers, which is pretty common here. Next essential thing in any town, especially in kinda such an open world game, is the center place. A place where townspeople are gathering a lot, where you can catch the latest news about town or pick up a new quest or side tasks from NPCs. Commonly, this place in the games is a town hall, and I think this is because most first games was coming from the US, where this term is from basically, and then it just became very familiar and kind of stuck in the most games. But when you have a very restricted setting, it is kind of like a restriction from one perspective. But if we will look from a different angle, then it becomes really fun, as you can actually root not wider outside of your box but deeper into it. Instead of that generic choices everybody is making, your game gains unique depth. What I mean by that is I chose Renaissance Mediterranean setting for the game, so there is no way I can add a town hall to it, but I still need a center place for my village. So instead of going outside of my box horizontally and bringing the town hall because it is a fantasy, right? Instead of this, I started researching the history. What did they actually had at the time? Well, actually turned out at such scale of a village they didn't have anything like that, which means that I should dig deeper and find something that will fit the role. And the perfect candidate for this was the Scriptorium. This is the building that firstly very unique and interesting, and secondly fits the role perfectly, as it was the information hub for scribes, documents, news, port trade deals, also a library, which is naturally a gathering spot. So I decided that my center place would be Scriptorium, and this is the perfect centerpiece for my game. Also, it holds the opportunity for lots of interesting gameplay features, quests, and educational content as well. I really want to add ink creation masterclass here and overall show how the books were made at the time, what library meant for people, and how town management information was stored. I really hope I can do that properly. I don't know. Let's see. And also it ties really well into crafting and mystery vibes of my game. So yeah, this is the final version. I placed it in the center of my town, and this is a perfect example of how you can use restricted setting and make really interesting and exciting choices for your game, and really unique ones. When I placed both buildings on the map, I wanted third one to frame up the centerpiece of the village, the building that would be the same shape and size as bakery but with its own character. So I drew Alchemist house, Alchemist building. The idea was the same. The ground floor is for the store or workshop. The first floor is where the owner lives. Alchemist was a very popular profession back then and very serious. It's kind of like a predecessor of chemistry, but not exactly it. It is a mix of chemistry and magic, and they also had like a few big goals, which are find the philosopher's stone that could turn lead into gold, and the elixir of life for immortality immortality. And by find means endless experiments and potions making. But because the line between science and magic was really blurry back then, they were respected intellectuals, not some crazy persons. They were very wealthy because their work was valued a lot. And to show that, I made glass windows. As I told in the previous video, the glass was rare and expensive at the time, so the glass windows were a sign of a wealthy household, so here it is. This is also a very interesting character and location for the gameplay and for the mysterious nature of the story. So yeah, this is the Alchemist building. Also, the thing is why I didn't finish all these buildings like up to 100% is this is actually my strategy of doing things. I prefer making sketches first and then refine it in stages. I don't like sit on one thing and perfecting it for ages, because sometimes you have to see the full picture, like how this thing will fit into the full picture with other things. So now it feels a little bit empty in our village, and I was thinking that I always wanted a giant fountain in the middle of the main square, and although you typically won't see a giant fountain in the small village, especially back then, but I decided to go extra on this because I just really want this detail so much, because I love fountains and I think they bring a lot of life into the scene and into the place where they are. So I made one, and I might messed up with the perspective a bit here, and also these water flows are falling down totally not realistic, but I don't really care actually. I like it. Maybe we'll fix it one day, but I don't know. Then I added benches around it. I actually upgraded them a little bit, changed the color, added a little bit of wood pattern. I don't know, it's just wood patterns is really complicated for me right now, but it is what it is for now. Then I added trees, and then I drew fences around trees. I got inspiration for this from Barcelona streets where I live, because here mostly streets are cobblestones, and that's because before that Barcelona was a really messy city, as I read about it, and then the government just decided like screw it and we just go full on cobblestones in this city. There was no grass left at all, and with time they made these little patches of grass and flower beds and all this cool urban stuff. And yeah, they had to also do these fences around trees. I don't know for what reason, but I got inspired with that and did that because it felt a bit empty without them. Then I drew street lamps, and at the time there were already oil lamps that look like our lamps nowadays, with one little nuance that they were oil and someone had to fire them. Someone had to turn on the lights, and there was actually a profession, a lamplighter, which is a really also cool detail for the game, for the gameplay, and for the world building itself, because such things make the game really, I think, interesting and lived in when you put such small things in the game, because I will definitely put some NPC as a lamplighter. I saw this also in the British films before, where there is a person with a giant stick who was walking around the streets and was lighting up the lights in high lamps with this giant stick. This is crazy, but this is actually what existed back then. I think this is a very cool detail. Yeah, another really cool detail to the box of the digging into your restricted setting. The most difficult part though of the square for me was the tiles to frame the square somehow. I really wanted the circle framing around the fountain to have a circle square, because the fountain is a circle and this is really like logical and looks great, but I was struggling with it a really long time, because for me drawing these circles with the right perspective, with the right angles, and of course you had to like draw not only circle but all these lines to make these tiles. This was really hell for me. I was really trying to find some inspiration, find some references, but it didn't work for me. Like, I couldn't just do it. I decided, okay, I will better draw something that I can right now and will gain skill a lot later maybe and come back to it later. Right now I just decided to draw square tiles like this. I don't know, it looks not the same. It looks a little bit off. I don't know. For me, I tried to use different colors. I tried to do the frame around it with this orangey color, but it's just something off for me. But yeah, I decided to leave it like that. As I said, I prefer to work in stages because I gain a skill, I come back later. Then I added this orangey framing around the buildings as well and around the trees as well, because I didn't really have the variety in the cobblestones that usually villages have. Maybe I will do it later when I will finish the whole town, because I know that the variety exists, how they mark with this variety different areas on the streets, and I know that, but right now it's just too much for me. Then also I added a small detail. Of course, it will be not a Mediterranean village without flowers everywhere. I will add them on the buildings later, but I just wanted to lay out the layout for them on the streets. And for that, what I see in the city, in Barcelona, in any village in Spain as well, that they use flower boxes. I will show, this is my photo that I took in Barcelona. I inspired by them and I drew almost exactly the same ones. I placed it over here and I really wanted to draw flowers as well, but as I say, right now for me flowers is the most difficult thing to draw, and I, as well as the circle around the fountain, I decided to leave it for the most skilled version of me in pixel art. So yeah, right now it's just empty flower boxes. But I already picked all the flowers that I will do because this is also really exciting thing, and I picked the colors for them as well to match with all my color scheme. And then another really cool historical thing that I really wanted to add, I read about it when I was researching the historical things about Mediterranean Renaissance villages, is that they had a community wells. They had to take water from somewhere. They didn't have taps in the houses as we do right now. So yeah, they had community wells around the villages, around towns. I also was really struggling with perspective drawing community well. I really wanted to do like some stairs leading to the well and metal arch above it. I really wanted to do some decoration around the well because it was really common, but it was really difficult to do, so I kept it simple. Before we move to the next one, I just wanted to say a massive thank you guys for the support on the previous videos. It really means a lot to me. If you want to support me further, if you like the video, if you like the game so far, please like this video and subscribe if you still aren't, because I really need to reach this 1K subscribers to unlock monetization. I know it's not much, but if you watched my first video, you know that I don't have a job. I work on this game full time, and I would be really happy to get a little money from these videos. Also, if you want to help me with this and give extra support for the development of the game, you can buy me a cup of coffee. This is a basic service for small donations. The link in the description. Thank you so much. Let's move on. My next task was to draw a street merchant, and I did, but I don't really like it. I don't like the placement of it. As I said, I don't really like the layout of the town that much. So I decided that this weird corner will be for the merchant. But when I drew it, this looks kind of weird, I guess. If you have some ideas, please comment. Right now, I decided to leave it basic and plain like that. Maybe I will have some ideas later on. Next one is another interesting character and location, which is Herbalist. Herbalists were the practical healers of Renaissance villages and the essential community members. Actually, they were growing herbs and plants and passing knowledge down through generations. As I probably won't have any sort of a battle in the game, I maybe will not need a healer, but renovation is also a very dangerous activity, as you know. Other than that, I see this location as the main source of seeds and plants, even though I will not have full farming experience in the game, but I surely will have some gardening. It's essential for a renovation, and also this will come handy for decoration purposes, as this right corner of the house is for the showcasing the different plants that is for sale for decoration. Actually, right now it's just 2 plants. I didn't want to draw all the plant collection right now. This location is also will be good for a lot of crafting recipes as well, because a lot of herbs I think will be needed for the crafting. This is the same pattern as for the other buildings. The ground floor is for the workshop and the first floor is where the herbalist will live. Here I added the stairs to the first floor on the side of the house, because the back of the building will be the large garden, because the herbalist needs to grow plants and herbs somewhere. That's why from the workshop the herbalist will be able to access the whole garden, and I guess there will be no place inside for the staircase upstairs. So this is the herbalist building. Well, we're moving to the biggest building. This was the most draining and exhausting building to make. I finished it, I think, on 50%, 50-60% only, and this is the church and the monastery. This is of course the must of every even small Mediterranean village. I really wanted a church on the cliff, because once we were traveling to the nearest to Barcelona city, which called Sitges, and there was a beautiful church on the cliff overlooking the sea, which called Iglesia de San Bartomeu. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. And as I learned later when I was researching different churches like this church is kind of iconic one on the Mediterranean coast. I just wanted something like this. Back before we traveled to this city, I actually saved a random image from the internet. I saved it and thought that will be very cool to have a church like that in the game. When I went back to drawing this church, I was going back to all these references and I saw this church and I was like, wait a minute, this is Sitges? I'm like, oh my god, I saved it way before I visited it and now I recognize it. So I took this church as a reference. Of course, I will not be able to recreate it 100% the same, but I think I did a pretty good job. I don't really know if it's cool or not to recreate churches. I hope I not insult someone's feelings here. I also wanted to add a monastery because I really wanted to add this beautiful garden that will also overlook the sea, and for variety of the buildings and NPCs in the town as well, I decided that adding the monastery would be cool as well. Then I researched it, and this was kind of common practice for the small villages to combine the church and the monastery, because the village was small and there was no point to do it separately anyway. So yeah, and also I didn't finish the towers on the top with the bells, so I decided, yeah, I will come back to this much later. And I didn't do garden at all. I just throw some grass there and benches and the jacaranda tree, and yeah, let it be like that for now. And yeah, I also need to think of the religion for my village and the game world itself. I didn't really think of that, but obviously religion played a big role in the society back then, and I think that in the games it is pretty common to make up the religion, especially in the fantasy games. I will have to come up with my own religion for the game, but actually I don't really think that I will give that much of significance to religion, because I will have magic and other stuff other elements in the game as well. Yeah, let me know what do you think about this church. If you think this is cool that it's looking like the Siege's church, or it is inappropriate that I took it as a reference, I don't really know. I'm not a religious person. Yeah, I just thought that it would be cool because this is a very beautiful church, I think. Maybe people who live in Spain, in Sieges, maybe will play my games one day and they will like, oh my god, this is the church from my city, from my country, this is cool. Or maybe they will be insulted. I hope not. Please tell me, please. If this is an insult, please let me know. I have to know. Well, we are almost at the end. We have last building. Lastly, I sketched out very quickly the blacksmith building. I also intentionally didn't finish it. I was very tired already and I needed to make this video, so I decided not to push myself, and I just made a base of the house. I made ground floor as always as the workshop. The first floor is the apartment. This house turned out to be the biggest one in the town, but I guess it works as the smith is basically a very handyman, so he can build himself a nice house, right? But yeah, this is how the town looks like right now. I don't know, I am really excited, like the before and after. Right now I am more focused on drawing buildings as fast as I can, and as you can see right now I have a much more powerful new computer, and now I can record myself drawing it, because before I didn't have the opportunity to do that. So now you can see the actual process of me drawing, because some people were asking how I do it, and this is actually not a cool thing to share from my stage of my skills. I don't know, I'm not that confident in pixel art, but I really want to share that this is not easy from the start as it looks, and is it not, I don't know, AI as some people think. I really do start as a basic rectangles and squares, and then I just build up. And also I already made a big asset library for myself, like I have tiled roof, walls, I have chimney that is the same on every building. Of course I will change it later, I will do unique stuff for every building, but right now this is a very good start to actually do something, to actually build this village and see how it all comes together, how it all comes alive. This is something that fuels you, you know? And for lots of people who were writing comments about AI and stuff, yeah, maybe I should do a separate video about AI, because I really think that lots of people, especially artists, don't really understand how it works and what it is actually. Also, if you really want to know, I almost do not use AI, especially for drawing right now, because I already have all these assets, and as you can see, I use pretty much the same stuff from building to building. I don't really need anything from AI right now, and if I really need some references, I already know how to take inspiration from real world examples, from real world photos and images. I'm definitely gaining more skills, more confidence in this, and I'm very excited about the next chapter of the village. But yes, this is actually the last video this year. Next video will be next year already, so that's why Merry Christmas everyone, Happy New Year everyone. I wish you will all have lots of love and celebrations and good stuff, and also happy any celebration that you celebrate, any holiday that you celebrate. I will not manage to do another video this December for sure this year, because this is my whole progress up to December, and I will have to do a lot of stuff for the next video. And December is a pretty busy month for everyone with all the holidays and all the celebrations. I celebrate not only Christmas but the New Year's as well. This is a main celebration for me, my family actually, and for my friends as well. I'm going on trips with friends, so yeah, a lot of exciting stuff, and I hope you will have a lot of good things too, and I hope that you will watch this video and will have some fun as well, and I hope you're excited for my game as well. So yeah, like this video, subscribe if you still aren't, if you're excited about this game, if you like this game so far, and see you in the next year. Bye.